I feel my grandmother's pride in me because of how I live. And my dad's pride. The things that I do honor them when I play music or when I'm serving a vulnerable person and nurturing them and being loving to them and being a safe person when I'm living aligned with Christ consciousness. My ancestors are proud of me. I'm Stephanie. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about ancestral veneration. We're going to be talking about what it is, my experience with it, where it comes from, and how you can begin to incorporate it into your spiritual practices. Honoring our ancestors is one of the oldest spiritual traditions in the world, and as I spoke about in my previous video, 8 Sacred Themes Before Religion, ancestral veneration connects all cultures, like almost all the cultures of ancient times. It was done by almost everyone before religion. So it's a really important topic because this is something that was done by almost everyone all over the world and does not seem as prevalent in mainstream culture today, which is strange. People have been practicing this way of staying connected to their lineage, and today many people are rediscovering ancestral connection as a powerful way to deepen their spiritual life. So what is it? Ancestral veneration is the practice of honoring and maintaining a relationship with the spirits of your ancestors. So there are 2 ancestors that I wanted to showcase in this ancestral veneration video. And one of them is Gimma, who is my grandmother on my mom's side. She's an important ancestor to me. She's been supportive to me since I was small because she's been an ancestor of mine since I was small. She passed away when I was little. I did meet her and I have a lot of similarities with her, and her spirit has been a big part of protection for me and also guidance. And I draw a lot of inspiration from her and pride from the similarities that we have. I have this picture of her. This is her necklace. It has her initials on it. All the women in my family on my mom's side are named Anne or Anna. That was part of the matriarchal lineage, was they passed their name. So all of the women had the same name. The women would carry the lineage. So yeah, this is my grandmother Anne. And I asked, I'm very careful now, once I started practicing more ancestral veneration, I ask my ancestors about their involvement in things and their participation in things. Gimma and my dad were both on board with being showcased for this, so that is why I'm showcasing them, because they were both cool with it, and they're both cool with being showcased together, because some of my ancestors do not like to be called upon, or not called upon, but in the altar. Like, I have a story about the altar, but I'm really lucky I got a lot of special things from her passed down to me. Probably because I'm one of the only ones that cares about our lineage and family history. I'm like really into it, and a lot of my siblings and family are not that into it, so I've gotten special things because I'm actually into it. So I got special things from her, and this I've worn a lot, and it does feel like a lucky talisman. This is also something I treasure. These are my grandmother's books. This is Gimma's books. It's Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights, and they're really cool looking, the illustrations on the covers. So this is the Jane Eyre book. It's so cool. And then this is the Wuthering Heights, and it has her name in it. So that's the Wuthering Heights, and it has her, oh, Anne V. Newton. Okay. The biggest connection I have with my grandmother is that she was a really caring person, a nurturing person, a spiritually connected person. She focused on education and serving others. She had 2 degrees. She really encouraged her children to get an education, to get degrees, and all of them did. and she was a nurse, and she was a follower of Christ consciousness in terms of the purest form of Christ, seeing people as equal with love, nurturing, and care. And she imbued that into her children. And she led her family in a matriarchal style where she was kind of the lead of the family, even though, I mean, my grandpa Jack was, obviously a part of making decisions and stuff, but I think she had a lot of say in how things were run. And it kind of did revolve around her because she was very busy. She had 4 kids. She was working and going to school a lot. And I think the main things that I get from her are the service to others. Like, she was a nurse. I worked with people who are in treatment for addictions, and now I work with kids who are on the autism spectrum. And I feel very called to work like that, like healing work. So like being a healer, being a nurturer, I feel connected with her. And then her beauty and her strength and her courage, because I think it probably wasn't easy to be spiritually attuned, to be intelligent, to be beautiful, to be a matriarchal leader of your family. I don't think that was probably the easiest thing to do in the South, and I think that she had a lot of courage to live that way, and imbued courage into her children and into me. And so I'm grateful to her and her spirit, her protection, her guidance, her pride in me. I feel her pride in me and who I am, and it makes me feel really proud of myself. So thank you, Gimma. And she was very happy to be showcased for this topic. She was very happy to be part of it, and I'm so grateful to her and my dad for saying that they are okay with me sharing personal, their stories for this topic. So thank you, Gimma. This practice isn't about worship in the sense of elevating ancestors to gods. Instead, it's about respect, remembrance, and relationship. I like to think of it as honoring and calling upon. In many cultures, ancestors are believed to guide the living, protect the family lineage, pass down wisdom and strength, help maintain balance between the physical and spiritual worlds. Traditions of ancestor honoring exist all over the world, like I said. This shows us something important. Ancestral connection is universal. So this is a universal theme. This is something that connects all of humanity. All of humanity. This spiritual practice connects all of humanity. And I think in a time that's so divisive, it's really helpful to think about the things that are universal, the things that connect all of us, support all of us. Why does ancestral veneration matter? When we honor our ancestors, we acknowledge that we did not arrive here alone. Every person is the result of thousands of generations who survived, struggled, loved, and carried life forward. Connecting with ancestors can bring a deeper sense of belonging, a healing of generational patterns, gratitude for the life that you carry, spiritual guidance, and protection. So the next person I want to talk about is my dad. He's a very important ancestor to me. My dad passed away in 2020, and we had a really close relationship. We had a tumultuous relationship in the 3D. We have a beautiful relationship in the 5D. Tumultuous it was more due to outside forces, but I looked up to him. He taught me about having a relationship with Christ because of how he had a relationship with Christ. My dad was a musician. He was a creative. He was spiritually attuned. He was generous of heart. He was a loving person. He was a approachable person and taught me a lot. My dad, I think the qualities that I share with my dad, he's a very resilient person. He went to Vietnam when he was 17. He grew up in Philadelphia. He was a really sensitive, loving soul. He was a musician and a songwriter. And he faced a lot of adversity, but his spirit was never diminished. And I think that's the biggest thing that me and him have in common, is facing adversity, but we're like a ball of light. Like, no matter what's happening, I think that our ball of light, our spirit, our just being like a sunshine, being like the sun, it like never goes away, no matter what happens, no matter what trauma or what any kind of adversity. It does not diminish our light. That is what I got from him. And his life dictated my life in positive ways, because I learned a lot from his journey and made choices to do certain things differently, and it made my journey better. So I take a lot of wisdom from his life. I also get a lot of protection and support from him in the spiritual realm. He comes to me as crows, and I see crows all the time, and I can ask him for help with anything, and yeah, especially protection. So this is his guitar. This is one of the things that I got when he passed away, and so now this is the guitar I use when I'm using a guitar. I don't typically write music on a guitar. My dad was a songwriter, and I'm also interested and have started to write songs. So I use his guitar, and it feels really special. And I even invite him sometimes into the music process, into the creative process, and ask him for help with different things. And he had a song that was like, "The sunshine is a friend of mine," and I want to make that song, record that song that he wrote, as an honor for him, honoring him and his legacy as a songwriter. But yeah, I feel very connected to him with music and singing and Christ. Those things. And being a ball of light. Those things make me feel connected to him. So how do you practice it? It's pretty simple. You don't need elaborate rituals. It's more about sincerity and respect. Here are a few ways that you can begin. You can create an ancestral space or altar, and I'm laughing because I did this and had not a good experience, because I made the altar. Here's a picture of it. And I had this cassette tape from one of my ancestors next to the books, my grandma's books. And the ancestor that the cassette tape was, immediately as I set it down, I felt a wave of heat on my body. Whoosh! And I was like, oh, that's weird. But I didn't think about it. And then later on, she came to me and said, I don't want to be on an altar with others. She just was like, I don't want that. So I took the tape off, and then the heat went away. So I definitely, in terms of respecting and, honoring them, I think I learned from that experience, it's good to kind of ask their permission when you're making an altar. Are you okay with me making an altar? Are you okay with other people being on it? What are you okay, just kind of communicating with them about it. But things you can put on the altar include photographs, heirlooms, meaningful objects, candles, flowers, natural items like stones or wood or crystals. It's simply a physical place to focus remembrance and gratitude. You can speak to your ancestors. This is another way to practice ancestral veneration, is communicating with them. And you can do this through prayer, through reflection, through meditation. I think for me, it's a lot of the times prayer, of just being like, walk with me today, please protect me, please be with me. For this video, I said, please support me in honoring you for this video. It can be very simple requests, it can be simple thank yous, just really simple communication, and it's just kind of honoring them, that you're giving them that energy. You can do offerings. Many traditions make small offerings to their ancestors. Offerings include water, tea, bread or food, incense, and flowers. The offering is symbolic and it represents gratitude and remembrance. You can learn your family history. So another powerful form of ancestral honoring is learning about where you come from. So who were they? What did they do? What were they like? What did they value? Learning your history, learning the stories of your family, asking people questions about your ancestors helps you learn about yourself. And live in a way that honors them. So I was talking earlier about, I feel my grandmother's pride in me because of how I live. And my dad's pride. The things that I do honor them. When I play music or when I'm serving a vulnerable person and nurturing them and being loving to them and being a safe person. When I'm living aligned with Christ consciousness. My ancestors are proud of me and I'm living in a way that honors them. Yeah, living with integrity, kindness, courage, wisdom. This is a way of continuing lineage and continuing their story. When we live in a way that honors them, we are a bridge between the past and future generations. So ancestral veneration reminds us that we are part of something much larger than ourselves. Behind every one of us stands generations of humans that have lived through things that we might be living through right now. You know, I think about living through a war or an economic crisis, and I think about all of my ancestors who lived through similar events or even worse. And they survived and even thrived. And it's helpful. It's just helpful to know that they came before us, they lived through these same events or worse, and they came out and survived enough to continue their lineage. So why wouldn't we be able to? We are not separate from the past. We are the living continuation of it. If you feel called to this practice, start slowly and respectfully and allow your relationship with your ancestors to grow naturally over time. Mine did. Like, I wasn't just like automatically doing all this stuff. A lot of this is more recent, especially the altar. I never did altars or anything like that, but I've always had relationships with ancestors since I was young. So through different things. And the other thing I want to talk about is them coming forward in the 3D through different avenues. So my great grandmother, my Gimma's mother, came through violets. Wild violets would grow up at every house we would move into. There would be wild violets there. My dad comes through crows. One of my ancestors comes through rainbows and communicates through that. And I think it's nice to recognize these different 3D ways that they communicate with us, because they show that they're there. So anyway, I hope this video is helpful. I hope that you can find or resonate on the cool things that have been passed down to you, and also feel supported spiritually by practicing some of the things I talked about. And yeah, thank you for joining me today.